one of our virtual events. We have an amazing guest today, Mr. Joe D. Hernandez, and everybody knows him as Little Joe with in La Familia. We are thrilled to have him with us for this Hispanic Heritage Month event. Um, I don't even know where to start. Welcome, sir. Welcome so much. And we just have a whole bunch of questions that we would like to ask you. You ready for them?
Yes, buenos dias to one and all, and thank you for having me on. And I hope that you'll enjoy this as much as I'm going to.
All right. Wait till I ask the questions. You may not be happy about
Well,
it. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right. Well, I read your book. In fact, everyone go out and read his book because he was so gracious to give our library a copy of it. It's just amazing. It is the life story of Mr. Joe there, Little Joe, and so this is where I've got a lot of our questions from. Plus, I've pretty much stalked you on YouTube and watched everything else about your life in the last month. So, music has been in your family for generations. With your great uncle playing the violin to you yourself taking up the guitar at age 6. After reading your book, it seems like music was equated in all the generations as both a way to tell your life stories and to share hope. How do you see music?
well, for one, music to me is magic. That's the only way I can describe it. When I get to perform it in front of the audience, it's the time that I feel totally just free. It just, I've always said to me, it's magic. You know, it's the only art form that can make a little baby move or jump up and down, and a 99-year-old person tap their feet, and it just touches. Music is from the soul and it reaches the soul, uh, and it doesn't matter in what language or what genre of music. uh, I believe because we have that heartbeat, and that's how the music beats. It just moves us physically, and I think soul-wise, we share something. Humanity, all humanity, I believe, shares something in common when it comes to music. It's the soul, it's the feeling, and music has been in my family. Well, my grandmother, my father's mother, was a trained pianist. So her children, my uncles and aunts, they all played instruments and sang and wrote songs. And there was that party atmosphere in my dad's home all the time with his brothers and compadres. So as far back as I can remember, uh, as a very, very young child, the music was always there. And that's just part of my whole family, my brothers and sisters. They're all my brothers sing better than I. I'm just, I guess, a little better businessman. But music is, as I say, it's just magic.
And it's definitely a wonderful family tradition in your family.
Thank you.
Speaking of your family, you and your family struggled for generations. You faced poverty, prejudice, and one of the things, the stories that struck me was that your schools would not let you bring your home tacos for lunch. And you've also faced excruciating work in the cotton fields in a very young age. You began driving your family to work across Texas at what age? 15 to do dangerous hard work. But I was struck by the fact that you never seem to forget your upbringing. How has this your career been affected and your music been affected by this hard struggle and the struggles that your family faced? Like, do you see that in your music and your political causes?
Well, I think that I'm fortunate to be able to stay grounded and be who I've been from the beginning of being who I am. Um, as as poor as we were, I personally, and I don't think anyone in my family ever felt that we were poor because we had the love of one another, brothers and sisters, uncles, aunts, cousins, parents and grandparents. Just a huge tribe that, we were all poor, we all shared. So me personally, I never felt, I knew I was poor. Uh, but I became, of course, a lot more aware of it as I got older. I understand that, you know, if you're poor, uneducated, and a minority person of color, there's three strikes. It's already, you're against the grain. But I love people, and playing music and entertaining them is something so special for me. And the feedback, the energy that they produce for me just makes me whole. So um, I've been a very, very fortunate person to have traveled different parts of the world and have met so many wonderful people from all walks of life. And I love to listen to people. Uh, Everybody has an idea, an opinion. Every coin has two sides. Uh, I like to think that I try and stay balanced about everything I do in life. Uh, so coming from the environment that produced me, I think for me, I believe that that's an advantage to so many people that have never had to struggle or really fight for survival, because as time goes on, you not only learn to appreciate everything and everyone, but I never feel threatened. There's nothing that, unless you're going to physically harm me, but losing material things, or I mean, that's no threat to me. Of course, I don't want to go back to picking cotton because the machines took that away from me. And I remember when they first were introduced to the cotton fields. But again, I'm just a cotton picker that do music on the side, and I recognize, understand, and connect with millions of people that come from uh, the environment that I come from, and it breaks my heart that so many are still there, specifically the farm workers, whom I've dedicated as much time and effort to make it better for them as I can. And I'm still on call at any time they need anything that I can assist with. I'm there.
Well, I'm going to skip over then when you talked about the rights, the human activist rights, and I'm going to go back to your music. I promise you, I'm going to ask you a question about your music.
No problem.
But with helping the farm workers and victims of police injustice, you became friends with Cesar Chavez and met with presidents. You wrote history in terms of fighting for people who may not be able to defend themselves. You've also served as a mentor and a speaker to encourage education. Um, there's something that you wrote, a line you wrote in the book that said, "Education is the great equalizer that we need." Do you believe that education and music is a great equalizer for everyone, no matter where you came from or your struggles?
I truly do believe that education is being informed. education is a tool that we can use to communicate, which is in the human race one of the most important things that we need to do to communicate with one another. Um, I'm not a great speaker per se. I talk a lot, sometimes don't say a whole lot, but I truly understand the need of a good education because I don't have one. I dropped out of the seventh grade, and I know how really difficult life can be without an education. As I said, the means to communicate with one another, that's so important. And I know in my younger days, I passed up on some opportunities because I just didn't have the vocabulary to communicate with, and I was embarrassed to, and sometimes do some TV shows that I was invited to. I was intimidated. And to begin with, I was just a very timid kid, real shy. So one of the biggest obstacles I had to overcome was that shyness, which I still am. I talk a lot because I'm shy, but getting in front of audience was really hard to do. But I knew that when I started and when my dad was in prison and I could make little money performing, uh, that was more difficult than meeting uh, my shyness and overcoming it. You know, the human spirit can overcome so many obstacles, and sometimes we don't know or understand that. And because when we have the opportunity to do so, we don't, for whatever excuses we make. But for me, I didn't have the excuses weren't going to work. I had to do what I had to do, and it just I really truly believe that if you meet all obstacles head on, it's like swinging at the ball. You know, you're not always going to hit it every time, but how great when you do hit it, you know, and if you hit it so well, it makes up for all the times you missed it. So I think that I was given a great destiny or journey to follow and do what I do because one of the best things I think that I get out of my work is that I'm able to help others uh, through and because of music. And to me, that is one of the greatest feelings of, you know, being able to help others because I know how it feels when people care enough to help. And it's that part of helping that it's, of course, if it's money or whatever it is that you're given, that's highly appreciated. But the fact that someone cares enough to do for you, for me, that's the ultimate.
I totally can see your heart in your music. I started listening to your music. You know, I started reading about the eclectic sound and I wanted to hear it. And what struck me was the emotion that you elicited with every song. You you could feel your heart. You could feel the pain. You could feel the joy. Whatever it was that you were singing about touched people's lives. And so, yes, whatever your destiny or your journey has been, it has been to change this world. And I know you probably are like, no, 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 because I get a lot of humility from you. But I felt that myself. I sat and watched one of your videos with tears coming down in my eyes. And what the best part was it was in Spanish, and I had no clue what you were saying. I know un poquito,
Well, as I said, it's about the soul. It's about feeling. You
Mhm,
know, it's that communication between the souls,
mhm.
and I love to see people have a good time because while that's happening, they can forget their sorrows, their problems. And it is something special to see grown men and women crying. Um, the songs remind them of their loved ones that they've lost or that aren't near them. Um, but it's not the language. It's uh, it's the music. It's the magic of music.
Well, and speaking of music, you, as you were talking about, having this open mind, this thought, there's two sides. Your music had about eight sides. You, you basically took a little bit of everything and put it in your music. Do you want to tell us about that journey?
Well, I call it's my capirotada. Um, what is capirotada in English? I think maybe it's sweet bread or, it's made with raisins, cheese, and
It's
bread and milk.
it's gumbo. From my
And
culture, it's gumbo, a little bit of everything.
actually, it's a gumbo capirotada, yes. Um, and because I love all kinds of music, uh, I was fortunate to grow up in an era when the jazz, the big band era, uh, and all the crooners, all the uh, just marvelous singers. And that's who I listened to as a kid. And as music continues, each generation brings their own mix to the table. And as it continues to evolve, uh, I'm fortunate enough to see it. For me, it's gone full circle. Uh, I dabbled in all genres because I feel I can do it. And I could never play a concert in just one genre of music or one language. It would bore me. I'd bore myself to death. Uh, but that capirotada serves to attract different ages and races of people. Uh, and it all goes back to that magic that makes you want to shake the old body. But that's my toss-up salad. It's a mixture of different ingredients, different styles and genres of music. It's worked for me, and I started that way as a kid, and I continue to perform that way. And I guess as long as it continues to draw an audience who's willing to sit there. I mean, what's so amazing is like I go to perform the shows and I see people stand in line to get into the concerts for hours. I would never do that for me to go watch me. Oh God. Uh, but and they're all talking and meeting and just big conversation going on, and the doors open and they rush in and they steal that excitement before the show. So, all of that is just feeding me energy. And that magic, it doesn't matter if I've not slept. You know, I've gone on stage, curtain goes up and the band strikes, magic happens, and it's just amazing. And as I was saying, the people take the energy and throw it right back at me. And it's just so fulfilling. It's just so. Who said I was ever poor?
I can't imagine you would ever be bored. And I totally agree because I'm a people watcher. And so when I was watching your YouTube videos, I looked at the audience and everyone had this big, amazing smile. And you were on the stage with your hat and You were just, I could see you were whipping them up and they were whipping you up. And it was just one big, if, amazing shared experience. So you definitely have a gift and you're extremely humble about that gift, but others see it. Others see it. Yes.
Well, the biggest gift I think is being able to fake it. I'm not all that I'm made out to be musically. I have terrible meter. The timing is terrible. But I was told as a kid, just fake it till you make it. And you watch me, I'm going to make it one of these days.
You have definitely made it. Let me ask you a question, and I hope this is okay to ask.
Yes, anything.
Okay. You pretty much made a promise to your late brother Jesse that you would follow your heart into the music field. Um, do you ever look back and think what your life would have been like had you not, made that promise to your brother?
Good question. I don't think I've ever stopped long enough to consider that, give it a thought. Uh, Now you got me wondering, what would it have been like? What would have I done? Uh, I really don't have an answer that I can give you because I'm not one much to look back at the past because I'm so busy and excited about something new happening day after day after year after year. But that promise I made to my brother, I carried that promise with me till the day when I won my first Grammy. And one of my older brothers, my mentor, Orfidio, uh, told me, well, you made Jesse a promise and you fulfilled it. This is the highest recognition, highest award you can get from your peers. And I gave it consideration. I thought about it, and I thought I kind of felt like a burden had been lifted. I really did keep my promise. But in one show, we played the Majestic Theater in San Antonio, along with the symphony, the whole orchestra, about 80-piece orchestra, my band, and a mariachi group of like 12 people, and dancers. There were 122 people on stage. It's just amazing. At the end of the show, I played Las Nubes, and that magic was so powerful. But I realized that the pinnacle for different strokes for different folks. But for me, that first night, the realization that there I was, my band being accompanied with the orchestra and the finale with the mariachi, everybody got involved playing my song. And I thought, this is really, for me, this is making it, taking it to the top for my brother. The awards have been plentiful and every one of them appreciated, hundreds of them, and they're all appreciated. But that was an incredible reward for my work after all these years to perform with the symphony, mariachi, my band, and the dancers. And I thought, this is the top for me. It may not mean much or anything to others, but for me, I thought, I have finally got to the place that I didn't even know that I could be. It's just an amazing, amazing uh, two-night shows that we played with the symphony.
Well, you are definitely amazing. I couldn't put your book down because seeing the determination, the hope, the love, the believing in miracles that you exhibited, which you keep saying magic. Yes, you believe in miracles, and It shows that you believe in this. Let me ask you a question. There are a lot of people in the world that have situations. I myself came from a, homeless years and years and years. And um, sometimes it's really, really easy. The easy route is to just say, well, the world's out to get me. I don't have any hope. I can't do it. What like advice or what would you tell someone who's saying, well, I've got, culture against me, education against me, people against me? What would an encouraging thing be that you would share with them, if that's okay to ask?
Well, I'm sure it's different for everyone, but we find ourselves in similar situations. Um, for me, I've never felt hopelessness, no matter what. But I I know that was has been because of family. There's always been family. I'm seven of 13 kids, right in the middle. And I've always had that love and support. So no matter what or where or when things happen, uh, I never felt hopeless. There was always ganas, which wanting to achieve. Because my biggest, uh, I guess, concern was to look after the family. Because when my dad went to prison at 55 and I was 15 years old, um, I had six siblings to look after. And I was too busy trying to do what I could, uh, really to survive. And that's when music popped in and a little extra money. My first show, I got paid $5 in 1955 in Cameron. I played what's called a sock hop. We'd have in schools. $5, I had to pick 500 pounds at a penny a pound to make $5 to earn $5. Of course, 25 cents could get you into a movie for 9 cents. 1 penny would buy you two pieces of caramel candy, and 10 cents a full loaded hot dog. 5 cents for a drink. With what, a quarter, I could have all that. So $5 could buy a lot of groceries for the family. So I never felt hopelessness, as I was saying, because there is always hope. Mañana, mañana. My dad always said, "Mañana Dios dirá." Tomorrow God will say. And my mom was very faith. Uh, she had great faith, and she believed. I call my dad was my hero and all, but it was really my mother who really kept the whole thing together. She was really the unspoken hero. Uh, she loved every one of us unconditionally and equally. So that was my case. In other cases, some people, so many unfortunately, don't have that. They don't have family. Uh, what advice I would give them? I would say, make a family. I don't mean go out, get married, and make a family, but there are friends around that are wanting to help. Allow them to help you. You know, let let them. They want you to cry on their shoulder. Take advantage of that opportunity. Be close to people, and there's always someone that cares. You don't have to feel alone. You don't have to be alone. You know, and if you find yourself in a desperate situation, get out in a crowd. Do not isolate yourself. Uh, be around people and look at other people's problems. You know, they will say, and I don't have any shoes. Look over there, the guy doesn't have any legs. You know, that's that's the true case. Uh, but I understand also mental health. Um, I have many friends, many veterans, especially from Vietnam era, uh, that have suffered, or their families have suffered greatly because of mental problems. But it's just not veterans alone. I mean, children, the elderly. And the worst thing that we can do for any person, any human being, is to isolate them, to leave them alone. We got to communicate with them, you know, even at times when they don't want that communication. But I think that's great medicine. And if you can believe in yourself, just believe that you can do, or at least believe enough to try to do what you want done. Just try. For years, I sang the old song, "You can make it if you try." It was a motto for the school kids. You can make it if you try and make education your high. I push that on the kids through posters and the song, but we need to desperately assist the people that find themselves by themselves and are, you know, in a desperate situation, but we have to recognize it. And I see people out on the street sitting there, and the least I can do is walk by them and say, "Hey, hello, how you doing?" Don't even have to stop, and they'll look up and it's, "Wow, somebody spoke to me," and I know how it feels to be looked down upon, and I've been there. I come from that. So anytime you see any person anywhere, if you can at least recognize them, just say hello. How are you? Wish them a good day. It means something to them. Again, that human communication, it's needed desperately by these people. Uh, we can all do our share to help, and we should, because it's so very little to do, really. And it's just a kind word,
I thoroughly agree. It just says you're not invisible. You matter.
right?
Your your values, your amazing ethics, your ability to um, share. Do you feel that a lot of your the value system that you have, you said came from your mother. Do you believe that you or this is a bigger La Familia, that you were grew up with the sense of caring about others because your family cared? Do you feel that your music, your life, your political activism is an extension of who you were as a child and in your family?
I do, because my dad would always, uh, here's an example. If we'd come home, say with an apple, and there's three or four other kids, and if you didn't want to share, on your own voluntarily, just share, take the apple away from you, and he'd cut it up four pieces, give them their piece, and give you the smallest piece. And it's funny, but you grew up, you grew up with those ethics, and even today, I will always share first before, and they shower us with kindness and goodness. The fans are just amazing people. Every every weekend, every tour I go off, I come back with gifts. So all sorts of gifts, handmade gifts, and some jewelry. They're always just wanting to give, but I always I played a a beautiful reception, a 50th anniversary, and it was really plush and everything. So the gentleman celebrating their anniversary spoke to my road manager and gave me a big tip. I was like already charged him enough, but he was kind and gave me the tip. So next day we were on the bus, and I just gave everybody, split the tip between the band. And what's the new guys that have arrived, they don't understand it yet, you know. They said, what does Joe want? Why did he give us this money? My manager told him, no, just he got a tip, so he thought you should get one too. But that's the way I was brought up, you know. That was my dad's doing, you know. Uh, just share, you know, and never be greedy. He despised laziness and greediness. He just don't be lazy. You know, you got to understand from the day you're born, there's an effort even to eat, and you're going to work the rest of your life. How hard you work and for whom you work, that's up to you. You're not a plant. You can always move around, but do your work as best you can. Do things the right way. You don't have to do them again. Or and, just advice like that, that, you know, when you're a kid, yeah, you hear it, yeah, I don't want to, he'd give us our tours and he'd do it right, because if you don't, you got to come back and do it again. And
Yeah.
in Spanish, he would say, el pendejo trabaja doble. The idiot works twice. So it's, you know, I'm an 81-year-old man now, but I still go by those uh, rules, or, you know, because they work. They definitely work.
I have to ask you, what was your absolute favorite show or thing that you've ever done?
God, done. I can't tell you that. My
Legally.
favorite thing I've done. My favorite show, the last show I played, and I could almost say that it was just an incredible show. I had my brothers with me, but my first show in Japan was really amazing to me, because I had read the book Shogun. I was in New York with one of my attorneys, my music attorney, and it was my birthday, and we went to the Lone Star Cafe, and Johnny Rodriguez was performing there, and I met with him after the show, and then we're in Manhattan. We're walking back to the hotel, and um, my attorney Mike Tellison, who's in the book, says, "Joe, I want to give you a gift for your birthday." I said, "Fine." So, because we're walking down, and the store was over, the bookstore, so he went and bought me Shogun, the book. That may have been 79, I don't remember. But 610 pages, I said, I'm not a great reader. I said, okay, thank you, Mike. I'm not going to read this book. But we had dinner, and I went to the hotel room, and I opened the book and started reading. I was so fascinated by it, the Japanese culture and just the story, and that it was so amazing to me. And next day, I had to fly from New York to Seattle, and the promoter was going to pick me up, and we were going to meet with forget whom, but we're going to have a quick lunch. It's a 6-hour flight, so it was going to be a late lunch. I left early, um, but I read the book all the way, all those 6 hours. And when I got there, I'm such a liar. I told him I have such a bad stomach ache. I'll pass up on the lunch. I wanted to get back to the book, and I just loved the book. And that was 14 years before I went to Japan. And I made plans. I'm going to go to Japan. I'm going to go to Japan. I told my manager at that time, um, why don't you look into flights just to go to a festival in Japan? And then I heard about Julio Iglesias selling millions of albums all over the world. And the Japanese people just love Julio. And I thought, wow, I want to go play Japan. And it took me 14 years to get to Japan to perform. And I played what was like their World's Fair in Kumamoto, Japan. And it was my first show. We played 3 or 4 nights, I forget, 2 shows a night. And I was so, it was just, I have to say that was my best, maybe not my best performance, but one of the show that I really, really remember and appreciate. And uh, Kumamoto, Japan, my first show. And it was so amazing. But I guess this is an example of you can make it if you try. I knew I wanted to go to Japan. I knew I wanted to, meet Japanese people and eat their food and enjoy their culture. And it took 14 years, but I got there and it was so amazing. I made probably another 3, 4 trips to Japan. I got to tour all over Japan and it's just so amazing. And today I still, think about, at one point I even thought, you know what? I mean, at one point, I'm not going to be able to do this any longer. I'm going to move to Japan. I want to live here. It's only a 14-hour flight. But I just love the country and the people so much that uh, I, you know, I was just so amazed that enriched my life, that I learned many things about the Japanese culture that helped me uh, with myself and their beliefs, how they think and treat each other. Um, One tourist, we stayed like 19, 20 days, and I just get so calm, you know, and you just everybody's so nice to one another. Then I get back to the States. We were land in Los Angeles, and the minute you open the door of the plane, and the cursing and shouting, and oh God, good old American culture. But but I am just like I keep repeating. I'm very, very like a very fortunate person. And I just wish I could share all my good fortune with everyone.
Well, you do. You do in your music. In fact, I'm now going to have to look to see if there's some Japanese music mixed into your list now.
Amazing.
Not throw added that in.
Just quickly, 2 kids. You'll find it in YouTube. 2 kids, one playing the guitar, and the other one singing my song "Las Nubes" in English and Spanish, and they do that. The Japanese, they can copy anything. They got mariachi, they got the accordion conjunto, and they got these 2 kids. It was on YouTube, and I just blew my mind. They're singing Las Nubes, and because I do it in Spanish and English, and this kid's doing that. A Japanese kid is like, whoa, just amazing culture.
So you've pretty much touched the entire world. Can you
Well,
Does that blow your mind that, you started off picking cotton and now you've got the whole world here?
well, let me see. I picked enough cotton to make enough clothes to be sold around the world. Yeah, yeah. I got
I
a
think
couple
you
of
have.
I got a couple of stitches here and there around the world.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, you are a gift. You are a gift. I know, you know, y- you're humble at the same time and don't see the gift as much. I'm so glad that you were able to take in at that Grammy Awards that this is something that you did, and you did it um, because you never did give up. And
I
That says
still,
a lot.
I still feel responsible for the family, you know, not just my siblings, but my children, my grandchildren, and my 8 great-grandchildren.
I was going to ask you how many you have. We have your granddaughter helping us today.
Oh yeah, she's a jewel. She handles all the media for me. As I said, and I wasn't kidding. And I'm not kidding. I don't know how to turn on this contraption here. I barely handle the phone and not well, but you know, I just decided that I didn't want to learn to deal with it. And I'm not on Facebook for say myself or, you know, it took a long time before I started texting because I love people, but some people just want to text their whole life, and that's a
It's
little
too
too much
many,
for me.
too many fingers.
Yeah, and then I can't spell to begin with, so I'm glad that now you can do it vocally, you know. But and I'm a one finger texter. It's like once, where's the letter D? Oh yeah, D for damn, dog.
Well, you told me that you have a show tonight. So your schedule is just as busy as it's always been. Is that right?
No, the show. If we're talking about Temple,
Yes.
that's October 16th, the day before my birthday. And my son's my book of nature, so he's really taking advantage of me. Um, I worked 5 weeks nonstop. I said, I'll take a day off tomorrow, but we were touring, and it happened that I was in California. I'd leave the bus there, fly home, go to the studio. I actually worked, I think, much better under pressure. I needed to finish the album with my brothers. Um, and it was a last minute thing that I took on because I wanted to finish in time to submit to the Grammys. So, you know, I make it hard on myself, but there was no time to spare. Every day, something to do, perform, rehearse, lots of rehearsals to put a show together. After finishing the album, which you know, I think it turned out really great because of my brothers. But I thought, okay, done. So we just got back from Arizona, and yesterday, you know, you come in and take the last minute things after the tour. Uh, and I was looking forward to this today. I said, this is going to be relaxing for me. I'm not going to have to talk to anybody else. I thought, uh, but then tomorrow, what's today is Tuesday. Yes. Wednesday, we go get tested, uh, rapid test uh, for the virus, for COVID. Then Thursday, I play the fair in Dallas. Thursday night, I drive past Temple, go to Austin, catch a flight to Long Beach. They'll pick us up and take us to the ship and get settled in. And I'm playing the cruise there, which I I'm happy that I can do this because of the band members and my staff here. They get to go, and but myself, it's just one long interview. The minute I step out of my cabin, it's like, hey Joe, by the way, do you remember 1965 when I was sitting there in second row at the Majestic Theater? Like, oh, uh, so I love people, but I like breathing too. You know, just a little breathing time. But
Down.
Uh, I know it's always fun. So we'll be on the cruise, and as soon as we get back, we got a day in between to settle in. Then I go play the Chicano Festival in Houston on a Thursday, which is the 42nd, and I was there from the first and the first concert, Chicano Festival, and I've only been absent, I think, once when I was out of the country. Other than that, I've been performing at this festival year after year after year, and it's amazing to see children. You know, 40 years ago, Uh, and now these are great grandparents like I am and parents, and they still bring their children. It's at the Miller Park Theater. So I'll do that. Then I'll drive off to San Antonio to do a special performance for a clinic that's just starting up, a medical clinic, and finish that and bus on to Pueblo, Colorado.
Well,
Uh, I'm already tired, but I'm
oh
having
no,
fun.
no, no, no. It's obvious that you are still making magic and you plan on making magic for a very, very long time, you know?
I
And
didn't mean to give you all my troubles of my
no,
touring.
no, no. It's
I
just
think
the
people should
opposite.
know. I think people should know that Showtime, they don't know where I've been, what I've done, how I'm feeling, what I've gone through. And it doesn't matter. They don't need to know. All they need to know that they want their money's worth, they're here to have fun. And that's all I want to do. Just give them their money's worth and have fun.
I cannot imagine you sitting on a porch watching birds. You can't save the world doing that. And you have a special gift that requires you to do other things, and
Gracias.
you do it so well.
Gracias. Oh, well,
When you're on the ship, just find a little cubbyhole space, wear a really big hat with sunglasses, and watch the birds off in the distance.
they, people walk by saying, "Hey, little Joe, I like your disguise."
Wear a wig. Wear a wig.
If they can't see me, they can smell me. Oh, I've been on the road too long.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, speaking of the road, let me give see if there's anybody who has any questions out there. I know that there are a lot of people that were looking forward to you talking today. So, Alyssa, has anybody, if you refresh to see if anybody's had any questions?
Let me say this, I didn't do it.
Somehow I don't believe that. Oh, I read your book. I totally don't believe that.
Well, if it's a good thing, I did it my way.
You did. You did. I'm very impressed with that. So,
Oh, what's
so
life?
Alyssa,
What's life?
Yes,
We're not gonna have
yes,
fun living it.
yes, yes. Were there any
yes,
questions?
yes. There are a couple of questions.
Oh, okay. So they're going to be tough on you.
Great.
Let me see. So the first question is, would your career path be the same without the success of Las Nubes? Is a song I've heard all the time, and it's kind of an anthem in my family. Everyone knows it, and it's always played in happy and sad times.
The beginning of the question, what my
Would your career path be the same without the success of
uh,
Las Nubes?
I can't say because it's there. I do know that I recorded it twice, once in a different tempo, and when I was in the Bay Area, California, and things changed for me. I saw Latinismo that I had never seen here before, and I knew I wanted to change. I changed the name from Latiners to Familia, and I changed the music. I took that same song, and I used the symphony strings, and just made a different arrangement of it. And I'm one of the lucky persons that find our signature piece along the way. I doubt that it would have been the same because this song is just something that continues to grow. And it's such a big part of the farm workers uh, that I don't know that I really doubt it. I could say that my career would have been the same. I'm sure, all the other beautiful songs are there, but Las Nubes really, really just hits something in the people's hearts that they've grown up with it. It's just a song that continues, as I said, continues to grow.
Thank you. And was there another question, Alyssa?
Yes. Let's see. The next one is, what is one thing that is still on your list of things that you want to accomplish?
That I want to accomplish something personal. Uh, Unity among my family, and how about unity in Congress? Unity between Republicans and Democrats, since we're all humans, you know, close your eyes, who cares what color you are? It's what's in your heart. So I know I'm not gonna accomplish that, but I would like to see it happen. It used to happen 50, 60 years ago. I remember.
Awesome. Thank you. Any other questions?
Next question is, what is your favorite song?
My favorite song?
Mhm.
Jesus. Uh, you know, I love them all. I think songs are like ladies. I love them all, but just can't remember them, you know. Uh, they're Jose Alfredo Jimenez, the greatest songwriter in the world. Any Latin, Hispanic entertainer, singer that's anyone has recorded. They've all, at one time or another, recorded Jose Alfredo Jimenez songs. And there are so many, I've done recorded so many of his songs. There's so many beautiful songs he wrote, but there's one particular song that I guess I would lean to as one of my favorites. It's called Ella, She.
Thank you. Any other
Um,
questions?
and then I see one more question. We just moved to Temple from El Paso. When are you playing in Temple?
October 16th, it's Saturday. It's an outdoor event, so you're welcome. And you're from El Chuco, you say?
El Paso.
That's El Chuco. That's the nickname for El Paso.
Mhm.
I that was that has been like home away from home for me for years and decades and decades. I have so many wonderful friends there, retired politicians and educators and um, just all kinds of uh, judges and just so many friends and beautiful people that El Paso, as I say, it's home away from home. I love. And the nickname for El Paso is El Chuco. And we're playing their 100th anniversary for Bowie High School. But that's not till next year. So hope you can return to El Paso for that event.
Cool. Cool. So any more questions, Alyssa?
When is your new album coming?
Pardon?
When is your new album coming?
Um, we've just sent it off uh, to get all the, there's a lot of work in putting the album together. The cover and all the information, a list of authors and just credits, and it goes on and on and on. And then, of course, the manufacturing that sometimes take a couple of weeks. So I think we've done pretty much all of that, and I think the release date will be the end of the month, the 30th,
Cool. Very cool.
which is not all that far off, is it?
Mm.
Wow.
No, that's like 4 days, 3 days,
Oh,
two
wow.
days.
It'll be in the digital stores. So I don't know where it'll be in the regular, if there's any record stores left. And things have changed so much in the recording industry. You know, it's like I was so amazed that cars don't have CD players anymore. It's like, oh, and I'm looking for a cassette player. Is it Joe? What's a cassette? I'm updated.
No, 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 no. Any other questions, Alyssa?
No, I think that's it. Just a lot of comments saying that they love you and you're such a legend and that they've been listening to you since they were kids. Lots of love.
How nice. I really appreciate those comments. Muchas gracias.
Well, and we appreciate you taking the time from your busy schedule to come talk to us. Yes, you are extremely as down to earth as when I called over there and went, "Hey, you want to come talk to our college?" You're
Well,
like, "Sure."
look at it this way. How often do we get chances to brag about ourselves?
Well, you're the most humble bragger I have ever met.
Well, thank you for that comment. But as I said, I love people. I enjoy conversations. And I'm really grateful to you, the way you handled this interview. You were very gracious, and it was easy for me to open up and just answer your questions. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Um, I know why you're loved. I see it. And I am truly glad that you used your magic to make people in this world happy and to give them an outlet for emotion. And so, thank you. I don't really represent the world, but
One last little thing. Don't believe a word I said.
well, I was getting ready to tell you stay out of trouble.
God bless you. Thank you so very, very much. We hope to see you again and soon.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and I just want to remind everybody Thursday we've got a night sky tour, so make sure you check with us then. Thank you so much, Mr. Joe D. Hernandez, Little Joe, for sharing your day with us. And I don't want you to go yet. We're gonna go ahead and take us out. Alyssa's gonna take us out. And thank you everyone for joining us today. And lots of love for little Joe. Make sure that you go ahead and follow him. His YouTube videos are awesome. Make sure you read his book.
So
We
you
have a copy here at the library. It's great read. So you guys have an awesome day. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on Thursday. But don't leave quite yet, little Joe.
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, thank you. You take us out.